are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Playoffs and Phil.
What's up, guys? Dutchy clocking in here. As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Let the celebration begin.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Eagles postgame show with Jack and Dalton. Proudly powered by TickPick, the official fan experience partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's take it to the show.
Whoa. Slow your roll there, cowboy. It ain't the post-game show yet. It's only the pre-game. But wanted to try something new with the magnitude of tomorrow's game. Had to bring out the big guns out of retirement. Look who I brought for you guys. What's up, Matt? How you doing?
I'm back. I'm doing well, man. I'm happy to be back on the show. And, go Birds, baby.
Go Birds is right. I mean, what a time to be here, right?
Yeah, I know. It's, I haven't been on the show all season. And then I'm like, you know what? It's NFC Championship. Why don't I come back, right?
I mean, honestly, that's like what Commanders fans are doing with watching their team. They decided to just kind of like let it thaw out all year long. And now, hey, we're here. We're here. So it works out. But man, oh man, tomorrow's going to be a good one. I know everybody's excited. Kickoff at 3:00 p.m. at the Link. Why don't we just start off with the atmosphere? I mean, what are your expectations for this tailgate, for this environment tomorrow? You think the people will be rowdy or what?
I think the people are going to be very rowdy. The Commanders are talking Jack, You got that defensive coordinator saying that they're going to hit Ertz hard. You got players just fired up, man, about last year. And this is their opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, man. I think the energy is going to be crazy. I'm hoping it's going to be kind of like 2017, 2018. When they got Meek Mill playing in the stadium and the players are just jacked up. Oh, man, that's going to be awesome. I hope, fingers crossed, I hope that's going to happen.
I think you're right. And I like how you said that in the stadium too, because that's one thing I think that the Eagles do a great job of is carrying over the experience from the tailgate to the stadium, right? You don't have to buy $15 beers to have a good time in the stadium. You can sneak them in. No, in all seriousness. Meek Mill is a great example. Like when Meek Mill comes out, you're going to get hyped up no matter what. So that's one thing I think that the Eagles and all the Philly sports teams too. I know the Phillies brought Meek out during the World Series. I didn't expect that. That was actually the one time I saw him. But yeah, it's going to be insane tomorrow. Vibes are going to be immaculate from start to finish. I know Eagles fans, believe it or not, I just checked my source on this. This is true. As of 7:34 on Saturday, January 25th, we're pre-recording this a little bit, letting this all out. Eagles fans are already tailgating. Like, they're already down there lining up. And the game's tomorrow at 3:30. So you are like 19 hours prior to game time, already there, already drinking, already damaging your liver, and already getting ready to write down, all your insults all day of what you're going to say to Commanders fans. That's your homework. That's your job for today. If you're there, make sure that every Commanders fan, every Commanders player, every Bumanders coach feels that pain of Philly. Not only because the weather tomorrow, I think it's going to still feel like brick out like it has been, at least for the past 2 weeks, but make sure your words fucking carry. Just make them think that we're shitty people. I don't usually say that, but it's the NFC Championship. Let's go.
Yeah, no, man, I'm on the same page as you. I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts? So you got Commanders about an hour and a half down the road. You think it's gonna be, a little more red in the crowd than we would like, or do you think Birds fans are gonna show out and take over that stadium?
Fantastic question, Matt. I'm glad you brought this up. So shout out to the show's sponsor, TickPick, for providing this knowledge. This is our cited source. Dove Kleiman, I think on Twitter, tweeted out that as a statistical source, 20% of ticket buyers were from Virginia and Maryland going to this
20%?
20%. Now, here's the thing. Everybody hears that, and they have the reaction that Matt has, which was my initial reaction too. Whoa, that's 1 out of every 5 people, right? Keep in mind, you have Elkton, Maryland, Fairhill, and then you just have Maryland. Like, the people who want, there are a lot of people I know in Maryland that want to be different from their family, that want to be a black sheep, and they're like, fuck it, I'm picking a different bird. Fuck you guys, I'm an Eagles fan. So I wouldn't expect that actually a good percentage of that population of Maryland, Virginia, we're fucked. That's mostly Commanders fans. But Maryland, I would actually say, could be some Eagles fans more than you think. New Jersey, I think you actually are going to get some Commanders fans too. But as a whole, I think, yeah, 1 out of every, I would say 1 out of every 6 or 1 out of every 7 is probably realistically what I'm expecting to see with Commanders to Eagles or Eagles to Commanders.
Well, we got to make those 1 out of every 6 or 7 feel like a piece of shit. This is the NFC Championship, man. You know, nothing slides in this game.
Not kidding. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, kids and women, guys, be easy on kids and women, okay? We don't need those insults. But every grown-ass man, person 18 plus, or if they got facial hair on their face, lay it on them.
Yeah, and then, I mean, like the Eagles fans that are kids, you know, also lay it on them. we love those videos of kids throwing popcorn at other fans. It's great. Love being
them right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think going back to the energy, you know, you got Nick Foles as the honorary captain tomorrow. You know the stadium's gonna erupt when he's out there. You know, just bringing those vibes back from 2017, 2018. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited.
I'm glad you brought that up, too, because I feel the same way, but I got yelled at on the pod this week because when he was the honorary captain, when we played the Falcons, we lost. So everybody said, oh, you're going to jinx it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care that much about that. The thing I care more about is the fact that we have a referee crew that favors the Eagles over the other team. So that's what I care more about. Nick Foles has nothing to do with how the team plays. It's how the fans react to him, and I think that he's a great honorary captain to have out there on the NFC Championship.
That's what I said. I'm like, are you guys gonna like take down his like statue too, and like just ban him from the link because we lost week 2 off of a catch that Saquon should have had, and we should have won the game the rest of the game? Yeah, like I'm with you. You got to bring him back. Like anything, the loudest I've ever seen Lincoln Financial Field was an NFC Championship game. It was the NFC Championship Game 2017. If any of the viewers are there, shout out to you guys. Drop a like right now for that moment to say I was there, because I was too. But that was a moment, man. That was like, everybody doesn't understand, all my friends, when I tell them, unless you were there, they don't understand, like the ones that had went to the NFC Championship Game in 2022, or even the Snowball last week, got great reviews for one of the best Eagles games in a long time. And I totally get it. But in my opinion, that 2017 NFC Championship game, because there was such a drought, right? Yep. It was like, fuck, holy shit. It was a good decade since we had really been longer than that in an NFC Championship. So when we were there, we, number one, didn't expect to be there. We weren't supposed to be there. So we were already rattled up because of that. Number two, it had been such a long drought that everybody didn't know what to do. Like, this was, you guys don't understand. People like me and Matt, we went from young kids, like probably 9, 10 years old, the last time that the Eagles were in an NFC Championship. I think that one, maybe it was
like 2007 or something like that. 2008, possibly.
I think it was against the Cardinals, right? Yep. When Deshaun Jackson had that bobble of the catch and we all went nuts. And then you have basically almost 15 years later where we're grown men. We're able to drink that. Like, life's a lot different.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers. And it's not a bad thing. That's what happens in life. But oh my God, I remember. So for example, I'm at St. Joe's and all my friends are like, they're like pounding beers. They're excited. We're going into the game. And I had tonsillitis, mono, and an ear infection all at once. But my parents, they bought us all tickets. Like, they spent a bag to make sure we were there. And Mom and Dad, I love you. I'll never forget that. That was one of the best, if not my favorite Eagles game ever. But I'm like throwing up in the car. And they were like, it's the NFC Championship. You got to be there if your parents got you tickets. And I remember I'm at the top level, bro, of the link. I'm puking over the edge. Like disgusting. Like horrible activities. People probably think I'm like a degenerate. Like, look at this scumbag. Like, ugh. And I'm like literally sick. And this one Eagles fan's like, hell yeah, brother, way to represent. And my mom's like, no, he has tonsillitis and an ear. I'm like, Mom, I love you, but it's easier to just dap him up and say, hell yeah, go Birds, and let him keep walking. Like, let him think what he wants to think. But my point is, like, I am expecting that level of degeneracy tomorrow. Like, I think that it was also the game where the guy punched the horse in the face. Hey, no animal abuse tomorrow, but like, the fucking wolves are going to howl at the moon tomorrow, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. One thing that I am upset about is how expensive the tickets are because, you know, I love the true Philadelphians being able to go to these games when they're cheap. Mm-hmm. And I got tickets that are selling for, I think the cheapest ticket I saw, because I was truly considering flying back and going. I did not because that's a small fortune. But I think the cheapest ticket I saw was like $750 or almost $800. I think the average ticket price, it's the most of any NFC championship in history of football. And I think like average price per ticket's like $1,200.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's
that's insane. And so
people could pay their rent. You know what I mean?
That's 1 month of rent. Yeah, basically. That's give or take a couple $100. But it's like that's insane. And like, so you're not going to actually get those die hard, you know, blue collar Philadelphians in that stadium. It's going to be, you know, people that can afford it, which is really unfortunate. Which
you're going to have the fucking surgeons in there, the lawyers, the doctors, all the quiet guys who aren't going to know how to get down. This is actually a very good take. You're not going to have, Walt, the guy. I remember one of my first Eagles games. It was actually Eagles Redskins. This guy, Walt from South Philly, he had a Bud Light tall boy in one hand and a Red's Apple Ale in the other. Both were open at the same time. Nice. I guess because they open them up in the stadium. But he's like sipping them both at the same time is funny. Like he's doesn't put one in the cup holder. So me and Brandon first get to St. Joe's, and this guy just looks at us. He's like, "You ever been to an Eagles game before?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Cool. I go to like all of them. I live out of my truck." And we're like, cool. And I thought when he said truck, like he meant van, like, you know, like, okay, he's got a van. No, this dude, guys, had a tractor trailer, no trailer. And it was a sleeper where he literally lived on the top because he was that committed as an Eagles fan. And you're right. I want to see people like him there tomorrow because I'll tell you what, that guy was one of the loudest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. I mean, the last time when I went, the only playoff game that I've been to was the Falcons game back in 2017, 2018. And the guy next to me was so pissed drunk that he actually pissed himself and he fell asleep in the chair. I'm like, you know, you're not going to have doctors or rich people doing that. You know, it's like, I really want to see like these degenerates out there tomorrow. We
don't need a whole stadium of them. I hear your point. But like if you make it $500 or $600, you're going to get that right amount of them that's going to slip in. That's going to be like, yo, I got to spend a paycheck on this, bro. I got to be there for the Birds.
Exactly, man. So
I love that take. That's a really good one.
Yeah. So we'll see how it ends up tomorrow, but I'm pumped for it. And you know, dude, it's going to be all worth it when we see Saquon break off a 60-yard TD. We know it's going to happen.
I think so.
He's been on a tear, dude. It's his first championship game. He's going to go off. I'm expecting it.
So how are you feeling running back comparison wise? I mean, Saquon Barkley obviously is God compared to, you know, Brian Robinson isn't a bad back either. He had 2 touchdowns last week.
I just don't even think there's a comparison. I think we blow that position out of the water compared to the Redskins, or I'm sorry, the Commanders. I just don't think there's a comparison. I mean, Saquon's the best running back of our generation, dude, without a doubt. And the fact that we have the offensive line that we have, I just don't think that there's any sort of comparison that can be made there. I'm not saying Robinson and Eckler are bad. Eckler is, you know, he's a dual threat running back. He can catch the ball and he's pretty quick, but Saquon, man, I mean, he is a workhorse and he will carry that ball. He will wear down that defense. And, you know, second half Saquon is more lethal than I think the bottom. He's better than like the top 10 running backs in the second quarter or in the second half. His yards and statistics in the second half match up better than almost all the other running backs in the NFL, other than like Derrick Henry. It's insane how good he is in the second half. And NFC Championship, he's going to wear him down, man. Crowd's going to wear down the defense. He's going to wear down the defense. It's going to be a fun second half. I think it's going to start out a little slow, but I think it's going to be a fun second half.
I think you're right. That was one thing too that I said when the first game of the year. When you have these younger quarterbacks, there is sometimes jitters in these big games, right? Like that first quarter jitters is definitely, a thing. Woo. Anyway. But, yeah, Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts, I definitely think will have some first quarter jitters, similar to that game where it takes a little bit of time. You're not going to see, touchdown right out of the gate. You might. But I do think once this game really gets started, second, especially third quarter, I think is where this game will be decided. Then we'll see the Eagles start to kind of pull away because of the run game. Yeah. I don't want them to overcomplicate it too. Like that's one thing that a lot of people were saying as well. Jalen Hurts compared to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels sweeps him in most categories. We've done the breakdown. But total touchdowns, Jalen actually has him by one touchdown because he knows when to run the ball and pull that trigger, or the Eagles know, hey, we're on the goal line. This is what's best for our offense. I think it's 32 total touchdowns, Jalen Hurts, to 31, Jaden Daniels. So my point is this. For the Eagles offense, don't overcomplicate it. Just run what works for you. Don't worry about being too fancy, needing to get Jalen Hurts 150 passing yards and at least 2 TDs so he looks great. I don't care if we get out of that game and Jalen Hurts has 120 yards and 0 TDs, as long as it's 0 picks, right? That's the main thing. As long as Jalen Hurts isn't turning over the ball, if he's efficient with his decision-making, that's all he needs to be. This isn't, a show-off contest. This is a go-get-a-ring, and we're in a really good offense right now.
I completely agree. I mean, don't break what's working. Saquon getting the ball, Saquon getting the yards. That's what works. Teams have not been able to stop it all year all year. So I don't see a reason that Jalen needs to go out there and be Superman. Of course, if Saquon's having a down game, then we would like for Hurts to be able to do that. But I don't see a reason that Hurts will need to go out there and be Superman. But, I mean, even if he needs to be, I'm still taking Hurts over Daniels in this situation, at least because of experience. Hurts has been here before. Hurts has been in the league for, this is his 4th season now. So he's heard the noise. He knows how to tune it out. He's been in the NFC Championship before. He's won the NFC Championship before. I think that the Eagles are a more experienced, they're just a more experienced team. And I don't see a scenario in which the young team wins. I don't know. I'm very confident with tomorrow, if you couldn't tell.
I think you're right, dude. Everybody, including myself, I feel like everybody around has a good feeling this next time around. And then maybe that's just naiveness. I really hope in a couple of weeks we're not looking bad on this. But I feel like we'll look back on this time as we all kind of felt like a storm's a brewing, right? Like that kind of motion. Like we've been in here before. We've made this exact way almost. What's about to come. It could be Super Bowl against the Chiefs. But the beautiful part is they aren't the same Chiefs, right? They're a completely different team, a completely different franchise where I actually think that the Eagles have the advantage in pretty much every single category. Except arguably QB.
I haven't been on the show, Dalt, but the Chiefs are frauds.
Yes, tell them, Matt.
They're a fraudulent team, man. They are so bad. I don't think they're a good team. They have the refs on their side in every game. Every single game, the refs are on their side.
So would that scare you with us playing them in the Super Bowl, though?
Yeah, that's why I'm all for the Bills. I think the Bills-Eagles game will be the truest Super Bowl that we've had in years because the Chiefs won't be in it. The Chiefs are Don't get me wrong. They have great players. I'm not saying that they're a bad team. I just do not think that they are the best team in the NFL. I think that the Eagles are a better team. I think the Commanders could give them a run for their money. And I definitely think the Bills will tomorrow night. And the only way I see the Bills losing is there's going to be a pass interference call on the last play of the game, and and the Chiefs are going to win.
That's going to be crazy. I mean, we're really watching that game tomorrow if we win, especially as planned, that game becomes so meaningful for the Eagles of, hey, who do we play in the Super Bowl? Who are we getting ready to face off against? Because I don't know. I hear your point. Entertainment-wise, ratings-wise, that is the truest Super Bowl is angelic, Matt. That's a great way to put it. But, like, for revenge, I'm petty, dude. I want to beat up on Mahomes, number one. But I also, I feel like right now, at least, because the Chiefs are frauds, Allen's playing better football. Like, I feel like if you want to talk about, hey, what team do the Eagles have a better chance of beating, it's no doubt the Chiefs. Yeah. So, if the refs do help out the Chiefs, I do think that actually, and I do hear your point about the refs too, but we've been there before. The refs have helped them before. I really think all odds are pointing in the Eagles' favor of beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be a repeat. It's in the logo, the red and the green. We've seen it. And I know that the Bills have the red in them too, but I just think all the signs are pointing to it. And if not, I mean, Eagles, Bills, I'm worried that it's Josh Allen's time. I'll put it to you this way. This is what I'm trying to say. This week, I'm going to be a lot more calm and a lot more level-headed if we're getting ready to face off against the Chiefs rather than the Bills, because I think the Bills are a way more complete NFL team.
Yeah, they are. They have the best offense, I believe, in the NFL. Their defense, though, is bad. They don't have a great defense.
Yeah.
Where the Eagles match up with both of these teams is we have a better than average offense. I'm not going to say the best. And we have the best defense. And we're going to go back to the classics, Dalt. Defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there, man. I think, honestly, we match up so well against both of those teams. Nakobe Dean being out, that sucks. And, our backups last week played really well. But he was having such a good year. And that linebacker position, hopefully there's no exposure this week. I'm nervous about that. They're going to go after the rookies, Trotter and the other guy. I really do think that they'll attack the middle of the field. Bond can't tackle everybody. And we may see a little bit of a hole there. And if anything, the Commanders are the team to expose the Eagles. This is the third time we're playing them this year in the biggest game of the season for both of these teams. So it's going to be a dogfight. And I'm curious, what Dalt about the Commanders are you scared the most for?
Jaden Daniels. I'll say this too. Scary Terry. I think the cool part about Jaden Daniels and the scary part for us as NFC East fans, but give respect where it's due, right? The kid just elevated that franchise. His positivity is infectious. He just inspires everyone around him to be better. And he's good at football, and players that have those two traits are dangerous because they can take a team that we laugh at, we make so much fun of, like the freaking Washington Commanders, the Redskins, can't even make up their name. A franchise that's pretty much defined by lawsuits and losing. That's all that they got going for them. We've owned. And he has turned that franchise around and put them in a place where none of us thought that they would be in the beginning of the season. They have a chance right now, just like us, to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl because of Jaden Daniels. And the last thing I'll say, Scary Terry's a player that I feel has often been overlooked throughout his NFL career just because he's had shitty quarterbacks, but he's always been a really solid wide receiver. I think you're going to start to see Scary Terry have Mike Evans-like numbers. He's going to start to go in that class now that he finally has a legit quarterback. I mean, every game this year, it felt like, at least when I played him in fantasy, he would have 50, 60 yards at minimum, but he would always get in the end zone because of Daniels. So Jaden Daniels, hands down for me. How about yourself?
I am scared for also Jaden Daniels. No, I mean, that's the only thing about that team that scares me. It's a young quarterback that has nothing to lose tomorrow.
Yep.
They were not even considered to be competitive this year. And here they are in the NFC Championship. So I am scared for Jaden Daniels because he has nothing to lose. He's just gonna go out there and play football. Where the Eagles have everything to lose. This is supposed to be our year. It was once we signed Saquon. That was the beginning. And then also knowing all of the success that we had with the 1-year free agent signings. I mean, I think every single league recognized award that the Eagles have are people that we brought in this year. And there are some of them that are on 1-year contracts. So it's definitely a game where I can see Jaden Daniels going off and us Eagles fans being like, what the hell did we just watch? like, really, that's how we're going to end the season. I think that's like 0.05% of how I'm actually feeling. I think that we're going to blitz a lot tomorrow. I think Bond's going to be shadowing Daniels. I mean, he is a runner. I think he has almost 800 yards this season of rushing. And we played him when we won the first game of the season. We played him when his ribs were broken practically, and he was not running at all. Second game of the season, he had two picks, but he also lit us up. I think he had 4 touchdowns. And that's the game that Jalen Hurts got injured, but the defense didn't show up. The defense couldn't stop the Commanders that game. We would score a touchdown. The Commanders would go down and score a touchdown. My only hope is that the defense had learned how Daniels likes to play and how that offense likes to run, and we'll correct it, being home again. But yeah, Jaden Daniels he's the story of the game tomorrow, I think.
And I said this a couple weeks ago, and a lot of Lions fans were not about it. They were really mad at me. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. If you look at this Commanders offense, I'm looking at it right now, they hardly have the only first round pick that they drafted on that offense, I think hardly even any first round picks in general, but it's just Jaden Daniels. So you got this lion that's leading this offense of pretty much undrafted guys and third round picks, but they are fucking killers. They find a way to win every week, and that's like their Cinderella story. So I'm not saying that the Eagles are sheep. Eagles fans that are going to be Mick from South Philly that's going to be coming for me in the comments. What are you trying to say? We're an army of sheep, you bum? No, I'm not trying to say that, okay? What I'm trying to say is keep aware of Jaden Daniels because it's back to that elevating point. Like, he has this Commanders team believing in themselves, and like Matt already said earlier, they got nothing to lose. So if they get up early because they got nothing to lose because of a risky play call, like 14-0 or something, this game could take a tide really quick because the Eagles' game plan could go out the window. So beware. I mean, dude, this is going to be one for the books. I can just feel it.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, I've been thinking for the past week, if the Eagles win the coin toss, I want to receive the ball. Let's go get some points on the board. Take that edge off. We know our defense is going to show up. Let's just get some points on the board. Start out early. Make Washington play from behind. I don't want to play from behind. Because then we can't utilize our running game. If we're down 14 points, we're not going to be running the ball down their throats. We're going to be passing, and that's when it starts scaring me. Having a lead, you can run and pass. I love the drives the most when we have basically a 50-50 split of running and passing. I think that's when the offense is working its best. And I think the way that we do that tomorrow is receiving the ball and going down and getting a touchdown first drive.
Yeah, when you don't know which way it's hitting you, I like that point a lot. That's when it's the most efficient. when you really don't know. Like, they have so many toys on that offense.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, even guys that I think if you put them on a team like the Browns or like the Jets, I'm going to start slighting those teams again because they can just never find a way to be good after this year. Shows that they're just going to be terrible franchises forever. But if you put somebody like Jahan Dotson right on that team, he's a great player. He's solid too, and he's often overlooked because of how many ballers there are in this Eagles offense. But yeah, don't overcomplicate it. Play your game. Don't be shy to air it out when you need to air it out. I would say the one thing I think Kellen Moore does well too. I'm not going to be, beating a dead horse on this because I said it on the show, but just short passes. Like, do drag routes, do slants, do things that are easy that Jalen Hurts doesn't need to put the ball 20, 30 yards down the field. You got guys like Dallas Goedert, like A.J. Brown that are going to stiff arm guys off you, that are basically running backs when they get the ball in their hands. So use that to your advantage because you can just pick up free yardage then, and you don't got to overcomplicate the game plan. And moreover, you don't got to, stress an injury that Jalen Hurts may or may not have too.
Yeah. No, exactly. Keep it plain and simple, stupid,
Yep. Bingo.
That's
I like the way you think.
Easy as that. But, looking at this roster, we got a lot of homecomings tomorrow. Zacchaeus is going to be back in Philly. We got Zach Ertz. That's the big one. He's going to be back in Philly. How do you think the crowd reacts to Zach Ertz running out of that tunnel?
I think that there could be some hostility this time. First time around, it was okay. But I don't know if you remember, he got into it with Nick Sirianni the last time that they were there. Now, I personally think I'm not a Zach Ertz fan. Like, I'm a Zach Ertz fan, but I'm not like the biggest Zach Ertz worshiper is what I'm trying to say. Because I've heard good stories and bad stories about Zach Ertz. There's 3 sides to every story, so I really don't know what to believe. Yeah. But watching that interaction, you see Ertz, like, he kind of goes, like, he embraces it. Like, he wanted the conflict too, which there's something to be said for that. Not a bad thing. But the way that Nick Sirianni has been in the past, I don't doubt that Nick said something stupid. I think just because of the magnitude of the moment, I actually think he might get some boos. And it might turn him off. I think just the magnitude of the moment, the fact that he chose to go to the Commanders, I think some Eagles fans are going to forget, too. Like, these are vibes like 2017. He was here. But I just...
He was the main reason we won that Super Bowl. He was. Huge touchdown.
He was. You're exactly right. But I just think you're going to... Think about it. You're going to have people that are drunk tomorrow, no matter what. Like, money, they're going to still be drinking. People say dumb shit when they drink. I'm not going to be shocked if there's a video that ends up on Barstool during the warm-ups of some fans standing up being like, yo, Zach Ertz, you suck, or something like that, that ends up going viral. Which, personally, I just wouldn't say anything to Ertz. Like, I'm not going to cheer you on because you chose to go to the Commanders. Like, that's like, thanks for stabbing me in the heart, buddy. But at the same time, I'm not going to be that guy either that's actively like, I'll never forget that moment that you gave me.
Well, here's the thing, Dalton. I completely agree. I love Zach Ertz. He's I would say he's the best tight end in Eagles history. He behind ahead of Selleck. But this is the NFC Championship. And he chose to play for the Commanders. And if I hear anyone cheering for Zach Ertz tomorrow, I'm going to be disappointed. Because, like, you can't cheer for the Commanders in this game. First game, the first time we saw the Commanders when they came to Philadelphia, it's good to cheer for Zach Ertz. That game means little to nothing that early in the season. But this is the game before the Super Bowl. If I hear any cheers for a catch or something or anything like that, or even during warm-ups, oh, thanks, Zach, for your time. Fuck that, man. No. We'll say thank you again after the game, But for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, he's enemy territory. He knows that too. I think I saw an interview that he was doing. He was like, I know exactly what I'm going to get tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been around. Like history repeats itself, my friends. You may think just because we have a shiny new iPhone and we got a couple new apps that we're on here and there that it's going to be different. People are better. No, Philadelphia is always going to be Philadelphia. And you're right, Matt. I'm glad you brought that up. He knows. I think, I don't know. I think that's a good question. How do you think about Zacchaeus, though, same thing, or you think he'll just people don't care? Because Zacchaeus actually, I didn't hate him.
Fuck Zacchaeus.
I didn't hate him. I thought he was a good player when he was here.
He was
He had
here
a
for
couple
what?
good
1
plays.
year? He was here for 1 year?
Yeah, he was here for 1 year. Yep.
Who gives a shit? He played.
It is a homecoming for him technically too, because he went to the prep in Philly. So I guess a lot of his family I would expect to be there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he was good for us. He was a good wide receiver number 3. He wasn't anything extraordinary, but he's really found a stride with the Commanders this year. I mean, he lit us up last game.
Yeah,
he was going off. Him and Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is getting a revival with the Commanders. Him in the red zone is extremely dangerous, both of them. And so they both know the crowd. They both know I guarantee they both know exactly what they're going to be hit with tomorrow from the crowd. Words, phrases. They're expecting the punches. So I don't think they're going to be too affected by it. Honestly, it may fuel them even more. Hearing, the team that at least Zach Ertz, team that they once loved, and then now they're booing the shit out of them and cursing them out and trying to make them feel like they're nothing in the NFL. But no, again, Zach Ertz with the Commanders has had a revival. Zacchaeus has looked like a number 2 wide receiver. It's going to be interesting. I think both of them could score touchdowns tomorrow.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Like Matt said, stay tuned for both those guys defensively. Vic Fangio, make sure you're ready if you're watching the show, dude. I know that you obviously come here for all your pregame knowledge before the game. But in all seriousness, if you guys are enjoying this, enjoying Matt being back, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. All those little things help a ton of us growing as a page. If I can convince this guy to come out of retirement maybe next year, and maybe for the Super Bowl, we'll do one more if the Eagles win tomorrow, knock on wood, just in case. But anyways, if you guys want to see Matt more on these pregame show, maybe leave a comment and let him know, because this was a ton of fun, Matt. I appreciate you for jumping on here with me. Anything you want to say on the way out, man? No,
I'm just happy we were able to make this work, and I'm excited to watch this game tomorrow. And, fingers watching all my hype up videos tonight, tomorrow morning. I'm going to be jacked up. It's a 1 o'clock game for me out here. So it's, yeah. So we're, it's going to be an early one.
Yeah, so you have like your whole day ahead of you after that, which is nice. Exactly. Which and could be also bad, because you can either drink the rest of the day after it, drink your sorrows away, or hopefully celebrate, right? Yeah. If the Eagles lose tomorrow and the Bills lose to the Chiefs, that will be the worst Sunday that I've had in a very long time. If I have to watch a fucking Commanders Chiefs Super Bowl, I will be so pissed off. that would be so ugly too. The colors, right? Oh my God, awful. I'm really worried it might be that now, but oh, come on, don't put this energy out there. Nope. It was a couple years ago. Well, they're not going to do it. You're right. They're not going to do it back-to-back years, because the 49ers were in it last year. They're not going to do the fucking McDonald's Bowl 2 years back-to-back, where it's like, oh, let's take two teams with red and yellow and put them up against each other, again. Hey, and there's some green in that Super Bowl logo. So, and only one team left that has green. Yep. So I think it's almost a write-in. All right, Matt. Putting my mortgage on the Birds. I am too. Go win it, Eagles. No pressure. But like I said, if you guys enjoy that, please be sure to give Matt a follow. I would appreciate that. I know. Are you still on TikTok too at Hoss302Birds? It's out there. I don't know if I should have the app still. It's all good. Well, hey, follow him, because I'll eventually convince him to come out of retirement and come hang out. This man is super talented. Appreciate you for jumping on here, Matt. It's always fun talking Eagles with you. You know your stuff, bro. And like, comment, subscribe, guys. Other than that, hopefully I'll see you next week when we do these pre-games again. This is for you.
Jacksonville.